Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier, Mike's Instant Movie Review. This is a re-release of Lola, Run, is the English translation. Interesting, I believe it's French is the original language, isn't it? That it looks like two words, not three. Very interesting movie. Hadn't seen it in a long time. I got this movie confused with, I believe, Amelie, because I remembered that I kept telling myself, you got to be there for the first 20 minutes of this movie today, and then I couldn't find my keys, and I was getting so excited and so emotional that I couldn't find my keys to my vehicle. Luckily, I found them. I got to the theater. I got into the auditorium with a minute or two to spare. Saw the opening credits, did not miss a thing, and then it occurred to me, Run, Lola, Run is not the movie where you have to be there for the first 20 minutes. That's Amelie, which was probably something that came out 5 years later or some such thing. Sky's a nice shade of pink and purple right now. But this movie, I forgot how interesting it is. 1999... The movie starts back when, a woman having dyed hair and a couple of piercings in her ear was a big thing. This year, that's the Bible study teacher every Sunday, okay? So, interesting movie. Times change. Actual telephones are used in this movie, like people on phone booth, for crying out loud. Some of the younger people won't know what a phone booth is. And et cetera, et cetera. So the movie starts off with this interesting kind of animation, or it starts off before the animation. There's another part of it that's interesting. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in this movie before we even really get into it. And then once we get started, it's kind of like this movie's a bit of ahead of its time. And basically, in my opinion, it's another one of these multiverse things, like, within like 25 minutes, Lola gets shot in the chest, and then she kind of goes into her own mind to recreate her choices of the day and comes up with these different options to do things differently that would allow her and her kind of good-for-nothing boyfriend, Monty, to survive and to live. And apparently, these are not particularly good people. I mean, Lola, we're cheering for her because she's the title character, and she seems so sweet and innocent, but really they're kind of low-life thugs, gangsters, if you would. And I guess Monty has to do some delivery for some other asshole, and then his bag of money or whatever it is gets stolen by I guess you would say a gentle bum. And then so now Monty needs $100,000, whatever their dollars are. He needs 100,000 of them, and Lola has this assignment to get them, and all this horse shit. So it's just a fun little romp. But yeah, like the multiverse thing, or the multi-choice thing, or whatever the fuck, or the butterfly effect, all these things are in Run, Lola, Run, a movie from way back when. Okay, so I thought it was good. Other thoughts and feelings I had, I don't know. I mean, the music's kind of interesting because it's kind of like this, back then there was this band called Prodigy, if you fine folks might remember. I think, unfortunately, the lead singer of that band is departed, as in deceased. But it's not that Prodigy does the music for this movie. It's just that some of the music kind of reminds me of the Prodigy music. Kind of like that hypnotic dance stuff. I guess raves were the big thing back then. I don't know if that's still a big thing. I'm sure it is to some extent. So I thought the movie was good. I mean, it tips it at 80 minutes. I like movies that don't feel they need to fluff themselves up or pad themselves just to reach a certain time limit. And like we've been discussing, you and I personally, all these movies that are going into 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours and 15 minutes, go fuck yourselves. I've got better things to do with my time. But anyway, I like that it's a nice, compact, 80-minute movie. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some of you fine folks will hashtag or whatever the fuck whatever the hell happened to Lola, to the actress playing Lola. I don't know if she became some type of, was she a star in her home country? Did I miss something with her? Because I can't recall seeing these actors, but she's not speaking English. So, and I'm in England, obviously. I'm in Florida, England, United States. What else? I don't know. Just I thought about like the Lola look, like she kind of looks a little bit, reminds me of something like Gwen Stefani type of deal, like I don't know what you'd call it, like the vintage shop swagger. Is that a cool thing to say? The vintage shop drip, as the asshole kids might say. I don't even think they say that. I think I just did. What else? I mean, you kind of put Lola in there with, was it Mila Kukovic or Mila, whatever the fuck? Mila from The Fifth Element with her like Band-Aid outfit. I mean, kind of these iconic turn of the century looks. You know what I mean? For these female characters. I mean, that might be a fun crossover. The Mila Djokovic from Fifth Element with Lola, running around in some type of dimensional movie. That might be fun. What else? I don't know. I mean, it was just, I guess for some reason my mind kind of festers into the pro wrestling world where you had like, Sasha Banks, and she used to dye her hair. And so it kind of feels like, yes, women have been dyeing their hair before, Run Lola Run, but just the vibrant orange and red with a little streak of pink. It did feel like Lola was a trendsetter. Maybe, she didn't start the trend of that look, but it did feel like instrumental in that look. Okay. So I thought it was good. It's nice to check in with these movies, in case you're wondering. Well, gee whiz, Mike, you got this. What's with all these retro releases, all these old movies being re-released? They've been doing, the movie theaters have been doing that for a while. However, whenever there is a strike, as good old Hollywood had, about, a year ago, and I think that strike lasted 4 or 5 or 6 months. You had a writer's strike, you had an actor's strike. Everyone was on strike. Sally Field was out with her little strike thing. Strike Force, Tito Santana and Rick Martel were reunited. And everyone was on strike. And whenever you have a strike like that, well, guess what? The theater's got to show something. So what they can do is they can show these older movies, and just try to keep the business going. So support your local theaters. As I say, go to the movies. It's a fun time. People don't believe me. People take great pride in saying things, I haven't gone to a movie theater in years. Well, happy fucking day to you. You know what I mean? Like, people love saying stupid shit like that. I haven't gone to a movie theater since The Godfather Part 3, and I was very disappointed, so I haven't gone back. Okay, asshole. That was one movie. You know what I mean? The same type of schmuck who says, I don't watch television. I just watch Netflix. Okay, asshole. Same thing. You know what I mean? So you try to talk reasons to these people, and they just don't understand anything. Anyway, fine folks, Mike Messier, MikeMessier.com. This is the channel one Mike Messier for Mike's Instant Movie Reviews. Before you leave a comment if you want, but if you're like, gee whiz, I wonder what Mike thought of this particular film. Well, just go to the fucking search engine in here and put the name of that film in the search and see what happens. I probably saw it and I probably reviewed it. I've also been reviewing some audio books. Did a nice audiobook review of something recently. Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, actually. I think I had another one I wanted to review. So you can do all these things. It's very exciting. Okay, and you can go to MikeMessier.com. You can go, if you want to say, you're saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, don't you make movies? Yes. You go to One Man and a Camera Films. You say, well, gee whiz, Mike, you've made all these pro wrestling references. Well, then you go to One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan YouTube channel. I have every goddamn thing accounted for here, okay? And you say, well, gee whiz, Mike, don't you make these wonderful abstract acrylics? Yes. So then you go to One Artist, Mike Messier. Your whole fucking week is set. All right, folks. Good night.